there are two things: perception of reality and the real event that has happened to your life. Unfortunately or ironically, we are more agitated and suffered only through the perception of reality. So all these things which we call the painful state of our mind is actually not the that event that has happened to us, but yes, you have concluded this might happen right in your future. So
Yes.
you are unnecessarily being bothered about it, and you are
Yes.
calling it a painful state of mind.
Future has yet to come.
This is called a psychological pain, and therefore it is said that the happiest moment of life of people is that comes right through the non-state of thinking.
Just put your hand on your heart and say it shall also pass.
It shall also pass.
Right, so nothing is going to be there forever. So you have to just take some good out of it. I mean, so you have to learn some lesson out of it. And if we live by this truth, if we live by this reality, I think we will always be transforming ourselves, because this will keep us reminded of the fact that we are to leave this world and nothing is going to last forever. Then we will be behaving the right way. We will be doing the right things, and we'll not be thinking ill of other people, because somewhere we have realized that what am I hoarding this wealth for? What am I doing thinking ill of other people, because ultimately it's not going to take me anywhere.
Suffering is often has a wrong or negative connotation. That is, evil experience, and people often want to get rid of it. People who are not wise and have understood life just to their private I think benefits or concerns, I think will definitely be not understanding the very big and this hidden meaning of the pain, because in pain there lies immense opportunities. And these opportunities, I think, can only be encashed when you are in a certain form of threat, whatsoever it is. It may be a threat for your family, it may be a threat for you, whatsoever it is, but there must be some threat in that way. So I think in this way you can conclude that pain is there for the transformational purpose, because pain is there to tell you that yes, it is the time where you have to be a little more active. Okay. And secondly, if there is no pain, there is no transformation. So
when you look at any picture, when you look at any painting, you find that it is full of colors, right? It is not drawn in black and white. Same is the case with life as well. Life is made up of all kinds of emotions, and I think pain is one of them. And if your life is only full of happiness, I think one day you'll stop giving importance to it, because somewhere you haven't experienced the pain. When you experience the pain, then you get to know the value of happiness, right? And sometimes happiness cannot teach you what pain can teach you, because sometimes actually we are living in this world, and this world is no more than an illusion, right? So when you hit some rough patch in your life, then you get to know about the true sense and a true you can say the reality of this life. Otherwise you can never understand the reality of life and reality of people, because we are always living in the fool's paradise, to be honest, because we know that this person loves me, but we don't know that the person doesn't love us, but the person loves what we have to offer to them.
Humans, to be very honest, are very clever. You know why? Because until we have understanding and convincing about something, we are not ready to invest our money, our emotions and anything. So
yes, welcome Robin. Do you know, it is said that when you are under tough circumstances, when you are going through some difficult times, it is when you realize your potential. It is when you realize, a different kind of experience which can transform you completely, right? So today, as I know, I'm going to talk about this particular topic, and which is really very much important. Why? Because generally people consider pain to be a very negative kind of thing, negative kind of emotion. But in my view, it is not actually, because every coin has two sides. And if you look at the positive aspect of something, you will always be having something to drive a lesson from. And if you look at the negative side of something, then you will always be feeling quite depressed and all, because somewhere you have developed that negative mindset. So pain, how can pain be a very transformative experience for people? This is something which we are to talk about today. And I've seen so many people in my life. I've seen so many people. I've read about many people, and I've found that When pain, when taken the positive way, can transform you completely.
Right.
And such kind of transformative personalities can be found everywhere. Be it our scriptures, be it the life, even in today's time.
Right.
You can see such people, and these are the people who are the beacon of hope.
Right.
Right. So before we are going to discuss it in detail. I want you to say something about it so that we can have a very engaging and very transformative and very knowledgeable. I mean, people might get something out of it. I mean, so the kind of discussion that people must be hoping for, they must be hoping to receive something from it. So over to you.
Okay, good evening to you and good evening to everyone. So, this subject, pain and its correlation with transformation, has always been intriguing. You know why? Because people often find it hard to establish a connection between the two. But since we have read a lot and we have also got to know that whom we have seen as a successful personality right now have gone through their thick and thin time, right? And that's what the source which gives us this very recognition and understanding that yes, pain is something which helps you transform right from within you. So there is a correlation between the two. It's all a matter of how do you establish first of all. See, we humans, to be very honest, are very clever. You know why? Because until we have understanding and convincing about something, we are not ready to invest our money, our emotions, and anything.
Yeah.
So therefore, I think this video that we are creating today is only for one reason, that how you could establish this correlation between pain and transformation. Now, transformation is what is the basic requirement. Not basic requirement, but actually, this is the purpose for which we are here, right? Because until we are transformed, we really cannot enjoy the life the way a human should live. Otherwise, there is no big difference between the life of animals and the life
Yeah.
of humans.
Yes.
So, transformation is always that transcendental phase of life which every human must at least make an effort towards reaching to this. Okay, it's something else that your destination is being fixed, whether you are able to reach there or not, that will be altogether a different condition. But at least we must try. So, in this video, we will try to understand how your pain, your suffering could be really could be proved as a stepping stones towards that transformation that you were seeking for entire your life, right?
This is my own experience that when you look at any picture, when you look at any painting, you find that it is full of colors, right? It is not drawn in black and white. Same is the case with life as well. Life is made up of all kinds of emotions, and I think pain is one of them.
Right.
And if your life is only full of happiness, I think one day you'll stop giving importance to it, because
Right.
somewhere you haven't experienced the pain. When you experience the pain, then you get to know the value of happiness, right? And sometimes happiness cannot teach you what pain can teach you.
Right.
Because sometimes actually we are living in this world, and this world is no more than an illusion, right? So when you hit some rough patch in your life, then you get to know about the true sense and a true, you can say the reality of this life. Otherwise, you can never understand the reality of life and reality of people, because we are always living in the fool's paradise, to be honest. Because we know that this person loves me, but we don't know that the person doesn't love us, but the person loves what we have to offer to them, right? I'm reminded of one story when I just heard one of the sermons delivered by Guru. He says that there was a bird, and it was flying, it was hungry, it was looking for some food, and while it was flying over the river, it saw some fishes floating around, and suddenly it just dived and caught one of the fishes, and then up it went. And then he noticed that there was a group of vultures. They started chasing him, and they started chasing him so badly that they wanted to kill him, right? Because they wanted to have that piece of the fish which was there, which was in its claws. So they just started hitting it very hard, hitting that bird very hard, and the bird was suddenly turned into blood. Right, I mean the blood was all over the body, and somehow because of the constant hitting of those vultures, the grip became loose, and the fish slipped out from its claws, and finally somehow that bird saved his life, and it just perched on a branch of a tree, and then he was just sighing,
Relief.
heaving a sigh of relief.
Yeah.
Oh my God! I think they were not after me. They were after the
Yes,
that fish.
Yeah.
And then this concludes that people are not actually after you. They're after what you have to offer to them, right? So this is something, this is only be perceived, this can only be perceived when you have realized the reality of this life, the reality of people, right? And this can only be perceived when you are going through some tough times, or you're experiencing some pain, right? So the first thing which we have to discuss is, tell me, is pain merely a symptom to be eliminated, right? Or could it be a signal guiding toward deeper transformation?
Okay, let me start with one of your points which you have raised in your saying is that we often become very hard and very strong, especially in making efforts when it comes to uh, our existence is under some threat, right?
Yeah.
So it's very normal. So what it teaches us is that our mind is always nagging at us to somewhere protect our existence, right? So one thing is for sure in this case is that we will try to make all possible efforts so that our existence should be at least preserved, right? As much as it could be, right? So one thing is clear from this is that unless you are not being threatened, you are not going to move an inch, right? Which means your efforts, your intelligence, your wisdoms, whatsoever you have accumulated so far, is only for the time period when you feel threatened. So if you are comfortable and living your life with all comfort, and there is no as such burden on you, no responsibilities on you, then in that case, we can't expect, I mean, you to give your 100%, because there is no as such requirement to give 100%.
Yes.
Because we are living a life to the fullest, and therefore these basic necessities are already being meted out. So what is the need of making efforts? What is the need to go harsh and to be harsh on us, right? So one thing which is established here in this is that only your pain that makes you move, first of all. If there is no pain, you will continue your life as the animal does, between 2 points, sex and food, right? So in this way, if we have pain, we at least we should be very I think thankful and grateful to the God that now the time has come where you have to be ready for making some big decisions in your life.
Yes.
Right? So this is one of the point which I wanted to raise, and in this way how you can establish this core relations between pain and your transformation. In fact, pain is that particular window, according to me, through which this very rays or the light of development enters. Because if there is no pain, there is no hope for development. I mean, if you ask Buddha, if you ask any sort of preachers who have spent their entire life to understand the purpose of life, they have certainly went through a very hard time of them, right?
Yes.
And thereafter they concluded that life is all about suffering. And who have won over this suffering is the transformed personality, right?
Yes.
Otherwise, many people in today's world are succumbing to this suffering, right? And the only reason is that they have seen that suffering as just a negative experience. That what you have talked in your part is that suffering is often has a wrong or negative connotation.
Yeah.
That is, evil experience. And people often want to get rid of it.
Yes.
People who are not wise and have understood life just to their private I think benefits or concerns, I think will definitely be not understanding the very big and this hidden meaning of the pain, because in pain there lies immense opportunities.
Yes.
And these opportunities, I think, can only be encased when you are in you are in a certain form of threat, whatsoever it is.
Yes.
It may be a threat for your family, it may be a threat for you, whatsoever it is, but there must be some threat in that way. So I think in this way you can conclude that pain is there for the transformational purpose, because pain is there to tell you that yes, it is the time where you have to be a little more active. Okay. And secondly, if there is no pain, there is no transformation. So these two things must be clear to all, and these are scientifically proven.
Yes. And then, negative things and difficulties are there in life to give us or teach us some lessons. For example, in the life of Lord Rama, and you can see that he was exiled for 14 years for 14 years. And if he had taken that otherwise, I mean, he if he had thought that I would have, I mean, so I would be losing 14 years,
Yes, right,
13,
years of
very,
his life.
14 years of my life, and 14 precious years of my life. It is going to end my whole life
Right.
and my career, right? But he is, worshipped by people as Lord Rama because
Right.
he went to the
Yes, for
he
us.
went in exile, right?
Yes.
And that's why he's worshipped. If he hadn't, been there, he wouldn't have been worshipped by anybody, because being there he did all those things which makes him god, or which people consider them, just because of that people consider him
Right.
to be god, right? So problems and difficult times in our life that we are feeling and that we are in right now are somewhere to bring the best out of us,
Right.
right? Otherwise there will be no force on us which can push us, or push our limits, right? So there is going to be some kind of transformative changes in you if you are taking it the right way,
Right.
and if you have developed that kind of mindset. That is really important, because sometimes, as I read, one quote written by, I think, Shiv Khed, I don't remember exactly the name of the person, but I found this quote in his book, You Can Win, that some people in adversity, some people break themselves, and
Right.
some people break the records.
Right.
So this is only possible when you are now pushed to your limits, right? So the next thing which we have to discuss is, tell me, can you share a personal or a historical example when when pain led to this transformation, and this transformation of people? I mean, this became transformative experience for people.
Okay, to be very honest, I really don't have that personal experience so far. However, I did have some experiences, but I won't think it would be shareable with you because it doesn't give you that much insight. But yes, I do have certain, I think, cases, especially when I read those cases. I found these cases should be, I mean, shared with people. I mean, one of those cases was Gautam Buddha himself, and
Yeah.
other case was Swami Vivekananda. So we have talked a lot about Swami Vivekananda, sorry, Gautam Buddha a lot, but today we are going to talk about Swami Vivekananda a bit. I mean, Swami Vivekananda, I mean, his is the one personality who really taught Advaita. And Advaita can be defined in many ways, right? But in simple term, if one wants to understand this, then he could say that one is, one is associated with all. So we are infinitesimal to the infinite personality. That's how the Advaita is defined. So we all are united in some other ways, we can say. Whosoever living on this planet in whatsoever forms, all the creatures are united, right? So we are internally connected. So therefore, we have to develop this humility, this compassion for each other, right? So that is what is the lesson of Advaita. Now, if you talk about Swami Vivekananda and his personal life, and there is a lot more thing to be understood from him as a lesson for life. What that he also went through his a very miserable time, a predicament situation that he lived through. For example, when he was about to leave India to attend this religious ceremony or religious parliament conference,
Yeah.
right, in Chicago. I mean, he had a choice to make whether to choose his parents, because his parents, one is his mother's, I think, was suffering from cancer or some sort of
I
diseases.
think father was
Father was, yes,
yeah.
father was suffering from cancer, right? So he had a choice to make whether to serve his father or to
Serve
go
the
to
nation.
this Chicago to
Yes.
attend this parliamentary session, religious session, right? Then he had a choice to make. Now, how difficult it is. I mean, many people might say, what is hard in this to choose? In fact, when you are human and you have responsibility towards your father, your parents, ultimately we will be thinking about the interest of our father, our parents, because this is the world for us, right? But personality like Swami Vivekananda, I mean, had something else in his mind, and he proved that when you have responsibilities towards the larger section, then you must convey those responsibility towards that section rather than to few limited people.
Yes.
Because if you are versatile, if you are skilled, if you are more expert in some of your domains whatsoever it is, and you think your expertise could be encased in a more exponential manner in a sense that many people could be beneficiaries out of your action,
Yeah.
then out of humanity or on this premises, you must go along with this path and serve the humanity by letting all the people, number of people, to take benefits from you in whatsoever they want. Because in this way, you are increasing the utility of your entity as a being. You are increasing your utility, right? Many people can come and utilize you in a positive way. In this way, you somewhere encourage humanity, and you can also preserve the humanity. But if you limit your potential, though you are more potential and you have a lot of expertise and you have power whatsoever it is, but if you confine its uses to only few limited people, and that to belong to your family only, then you are not serving your purpose. So how
You're
good
self-centered.
you are self-centered. In this way you will prove to be a self-centered. But I mean, this is not just ended here. I mean, look at the kind of snare that people are in sometimes. So you have adopted, or you have opted for this particular choice to go to Chicago, but next moment you need to be ready for all those kinds of backlashes in a sense that
Yeah.
people would come out and criticize you, what kind of son you are, who couldn't
Because
even
you,
care for
yeah,
your
you were
father.
you're not at all, a very you can say thoughtful son.
Thoughtful son. And then, in fact, Narendra Modi, ever since he became the prime minister of the country, he has been criticized for what? Because he had a family,
Yeah.
or maybe whatsoever it's private. I think whatsoever it is, but I think he has been criticized for this thoroughly because he has left his family and he couldn't even, I mean, make his family happy. Then how he could, satisfy this large number of people in this country. So how he could prove himself to be responsible for this 1.4 billion people when he has failed miserably, wretchedly in his own on his own part, being a son or being a father or being a husband of a particular wife, right? So this sounds very difficult as a phase of human life, and those who are awakened, enlightened, and those who understand the meaning of it can really transform themselves. So this was a certain kind of painful state, as I conclude in my language, that this was particular a painful state, especially of Swami Vivekananda, and how he transformed himself out of this. That is, I think,
From Narendra to Swami Vivekananda.
Swami Vivekananda,
Yeah.
and how he did it. I think it is very well prevalent. People could know about it. We today read about him, and now he has become the youth leader,
Yeah.
isn't he? Because he's a
Yes.
youth. Every January, I mean, every month in the in month
His-
January,
his-
in the month of January, I think we
His
celebrate
birthday
him.
celebrated as
Yes.
Youth Day.
So this is how he has proved as pain is not always an evil experience. In fact, it is just in disguise an opportunity for you.
Yes. And this could have been possible because he never given importance or prioritize his family.
Obviously.
Because he says that the whole world is family. Vasudev Kutumbakam.
Yes, yes, yes.
He was of opinion.
Right.
And one more thing I would love to say is that there comes a story in the Srimad Bhagavatam, and the King Yadu asked Abduta, that is, godly messenger. He says that who is your guru? Then he said that I've got many gurus, and one of them is prostitute, right? So he was quite startled. He said that how come a prostitute can be your guru? Then he said that this is what pain can teach you. Pain can transform you completely. And what happened? There was a lady. She was a prostitute, right? And she was chosen the courtesan in the royal court because she was so beautiful. I mean, everybody when look at her, they would find themselves mesmerized with the beauty. And so, but this lady was what happened? She had the kind of relationship with the other people. It was just equivalent to the relationship of a doctor with his patient. She was not at all, investing her emotions in them because
Right.
after all, they were the customers for her, right? So what happened one day? A prince visited that lady, right? And she somehow lost her heart to that prince, and the prince promised her that he would come and take her to his palace, right? And then she was quite eager to visit that prince again. And now, because the day of the promise, he made a promise that I would be there on a certain date. So the date arrived, and now she was waiting very eagerly for that prince to come. And then the morning turned into the midday, right? But he didn't come.
Okay.
Then it became dusk, and but he didn't show up. And then she had adorned herself with all the ornaments, right? And she would keep wearing the perfume, from time to time, because she thought that what if she comes and I don't smell very very, I would say, no, aromatically, right? And then what happened? It was not night, and the flowers which she was wearing in her hair, they wilted away, right?
Okay.
But the person didn't come. And then it was now midnight, and then she was going again and again to the door, asking the guards if he had come, and she was even chastising them, thinking that you are not careful enough, you are not looking at him properly. He would have come, and you didn't inform me. But then it was the next day. The birds started chirping, and even the man started walking, and they were just going about the businesses. And she, with the people waking up, she also woke up. I mean, she realized that she was living in the fool's paradise. She was waiting for somebody who is not actually, he's a, can say he's a mortal, right? Whereas she should have been devoted herself, she should have devoted herself to the Almighty, which is residing in her own heart. And from that day onwards, she devoted herself to the Almighty. She said that I'm devoting myself to this body, which has got, say, no, 9 doors, and which are always smelling foul. And I'm just devoting myself to this.
Okay.
Why don't I devote myself to that Almighty, who is the creator of this whole universe,
Right.
who is the supreme Godhead, right? And from that day onwards, she became such a devotee of the Lord that she could become the guru of somebody. I mean, she became the guru of somebody. I mean, this was a painful transformation, I would say.
Yeah, right.
It was the pain, actually.
It was the pain?
Earlier she felt that pain.
Yes.
But that pain was there, which really transformed her completely. So if pain, when you are in pain and you realize the reality of this life, I think you are no longer the one
Right.
you were earlier.
Right.
You will be completely transformed, right? So the next thing which we have to discuss is, tell me, how do different philosophies or spiritual traditions interpret the role of suffering in human life?
Okay, there is a famous quote. I don't know who wrote that, but I read it somewhere, that one who looks around him is intelligent, and one who looks within him is wise. So, first of all, since we are talking about this pain and trying to establish this relationship with transformation, we should not forget that pain is only that state of mind where it gives you just an opportunity to be with you.
Yes.
Right? Otherwise, in this busyness of life, how many people do get time to spend with oneself, right? So, first of all, this introspection, meditations, all are these invented methods. All are there for you to, so that you could do a little bit self-talk, right?
Yes.
Self-talk means to have self understanding.
Introspection as well.
Yes, introspection is, yes, it's a part of self-talk, because there you try to build up your knowledge about yourself.
Yes.
Now, second important thing, we'll talk about all these kinds of philosophical ideas and other religions and their contributions as to what they have to say, especially on this, pain and its journey towards transformation, right? Now, second thing, if you talk about Buddha or you talk about Vedanta, you talk about Socrates, you take any name, you will find that they are always revolving around one thing, that is pain. I mean, Buddha got enlightened only after suffering through a pain for more than 7 years.
Or realizing the suffering of others.
Obviously. I mean, why do we call Buddha enlightened personality? In fact, if you go and read his book, he himself told that first he went through this very rigorous time of around 7 years. And then he realized that, yes, what all he did before was just, I think, insufficient, insignificant according to him. And finally, he realized that there's another method which could help him to experience this transcendental phase of life. And thereafter, he became enlightened, right? Socrates always dangling around the same place. Socrates, oh sorry, yes, Socrates. Socrates always talks about the same thing. He talks about that whatsoever you have as a pain on you, you have to neutralize it by your indifference attitude,
Yes.
your equanimity, maintaining your equipoise, right? So what he tells is also the same thing, the same language as it is given, especially by the Buddha himself, right?
Yeah.
And we have other Vedantas, we have
Lord Krishna as
Lord
well.
Krishna himself. I mean, Lord Krishna, I mean, went to that point and says that, yes, you should not be bothered about all those suffering, because suffering is just an impermanence experience of your life. Because even your life is not permanent, right? So how your suffering could be? In fact, if you think it logically, if there is any one obstacle in life which somewhere, I mean, is the biggest hurdle, is that your feeling of suffering, or your stucking with this suffering, right? Because it is somewhere making your life very difficult to live, and therefore you have to get a triumph over it. How you can do that? Just by understanding it. Your understanding to your pain is itself a transformation within you, don't you think so? Because many people don't accept that the bitter truth of life is that, and it is inevitable fact.
Yeah.
Many people don't accept it. People who have accepted it is now transformed one. Buddha accepted this fact that one day one has to go.
Yeah.
Right?
Because that's the harsh reality of this world.
It's a harsh reality. How many times we go, especially to crematorium ground, right? Just to see people burning up and turning to ashes, right? How many times we put ourselves in the same case, experience ourselves.
We think that, yeah, this one can die, but we'll never die.
This is the
thinking.
This is the common thought.
Yeah, yeah.
We never even think of that we would be coming in the same way, okay, by some people carrying us on their shoulders, and
Yes.
same things will be happening with us. But I think rarely people think about it. So transformation, first of all, is not just about your accumulating mass, your wealth, and in the name of this you will be then called successful people, and then people will call you a transformed personality. It is not like this. Transformation just is just a subtle experience in your life where you accept the bitter reality as the inevitability of life, and you sideline it, and then you start your life the way it should be, because we are the part of this super, I mean, this Godhead, right? And we are all the children of it. So whatsoever happens to us, we should not be bothering about it, calling it a negative experience. Or rather, we should embrace it as a reality. And what we have to do it on the top of it, that it is impermanent in nature, and therefore we should just like let it go. Let it go is one of those famous,
Yes.
term is used by many of the philosophers, great
Yes.
thinkers, that nothing is in your control. And in fact,
And then just put your hand on your heart and say it shall also pass.
It shall also pass.
Right. So nothing is going to be there forever. So you have to just take some good out of it. I mean, so you have to learn some lesson out of it. And if we live by this truth, if we live by this reality, I think we can means we will always be transforming ourselves, because this will keep us reminded of the fact that we are to leave this world and nothing is going to last forever. Then we will be behaving the right way. We will be doing the right things, and we'll not be thinking ill of other people. Because somewhere we have realized that what am I hoarding this wealth for?
Right.
What am I doing ill, thinking ill of other people? Because ultimately it's not going to take me anywhere. Right. And one more thing I would love to say is that well, I think we had the same kind of conversation in some of our videos, that even the Kunti, who happens to be the sis and to the aunt of Lord Krishna, when Lord Krishna asked her to ask for some boon, she said that, just my Lord, just keep me in difficult times. Always give me some difficult times, because I know that when I have I'm going through some difficult times. I'll always remember you. But if you give me some you can say happiness, and you bless me with all that abundance and all, chances are I may forget you. So pain is really going to be very transformative if we really try to realize the fact of this life,
Right.
the fact of this world, because this world is nothing more an illusion. We
Right.
have always
Absolutely.
talked about it, and because the best thing to realize the you can say brevity of this human life is that when you look back, you'll find that you cannot go back, because and then you cannot jump into the future.
Right.
So this is the only thing.
Right.
So how can we say
Present.
that this is reality? Present is the only thing.
Right.
Because there is nothing else. Right? If today, as we are having the discussion, tomorrow it will be past,
Obviously.
and we cannot live this day again.
Right.
So somewhere it is not the reality.
Obviously.
Right? So the next thing which we have to discuss is tell me, in the next point which we have to discuss is, tell me, in the society, especially this modern, I'm talking about the modern times, in this society, when people are obsessed with the comfort and the quick fixes, I know they're always looking for quick fixes. Can we learn something from the pain?
Okay, quick fixes. I think, first of all, we need to understand that how do we understand pain? Because many people conclude pain as physical suffering. But the true pain is that which somewhere lies at the psychological level. This is basically a true pain because that is where we have to make a change, a big change. So there are two arrows follow to us, and that is one is that strikes us with physical pain, and the second is psychological pain. See, physical pain is inevitable, which means there is no control. I mean, we don't hold any handle and which through which we can handle this, we can minimize it. So something which is there inevitable, which you have to bear it at any cost. So if you meet with certain event, such an accident, then you will have to face this pain, right? You might have injured sometimes, and then you will have to, I mean, face all these physical pain. The other thing is that your psychological pain is all in your control, right? Because there you have to make a choice whether you want to be contemplative on certain event that has happened to you, or you want to get it off, or means you want to let it go. Okay. So this is your all choice, first of all. Now the question is, your question was what? That how should people understand all these things?
Yes.
Right? How should people understand? People, I think, in today's world, I think we have somewhere, I mean, misinterpreted this pain. This is my first point which I want to make, because what do we see today is that people are somewhere understanding transformation as a success, which is equivalent to amassing wealth,
Yes.
right? And
Fame as well.
yes,
They'll be famous, they'll be rich.
rich. So if you by any chance fail to do that, then you call yourself under a painful state, right? This is, I think, the most ironical thing that is happening with people. Secondly, we also know that when we look around ourselves, we see some people are really doing good, and they, in a short span of time, I mean, taking themselves to the uh, acme of their career. Okay, setting up a milestone, setting a benchmark for all of us to follow them. I think in this particular attempt of making ourselves more successful in the mode of competitiveness, I think people are moving towards this quick fixes. Why? Because first, they think that to be living in a painful state is itself it's itself a loss of life. For example, a poor person who is stricken with poverty, I think, may be okay with this poverty. But if people around him are very rich, then this feeling of poverty,
An
I
inferiority
think,
complex will be
yes,
there.
inferiority complex will further develop. Okay. And that will make his life even more difficult to live, right? And in that condition, I think it won't be very easy to survive for him, right? So, first of all, it is not just your problem, is the only thing which you have to think about and you have to fix about. I think you have to look around yourself how people are doing. Second important thing, that we need to be stick to only few things which are the basic things of life, right? What is that basic thing of life is that, first of all, quick fixes can never be the permanent solution
Yes.
of your problem. Secondly, what you call your problem is literally a problem. if yes, then why, and if not, then why? You have to ask this question to yourself.
Yes.
Secondly, if you call yourself you are in a painful state, right, then what kind of pain you are in, right?
Yes.
Is that pain just because of someone is rich and you are not able to be the same even after you have worked hard a lot? Then if you call this particular state of yourself is a painful state, then I think it's not at all. So even if you go for the quick fixes, you might have these quick fixes, but you're not going to get results out of it. So this is what you have to be a little bit clarified about, okay, and then you have to move in.
Yes, so as you want to say that, I also believe in the same that quick fixes don't exist, and if they are, then they cannot give you any permanent solution, right? So people are, so much obsessed with the comfort and all because somewhere they have started or comparing themselves with other people's state, right?
Right.
What kind of state they are living in, or what kind of person they have become. So what I believe is that comparison can never give you any satisfaction. It can never transform you. But what it can do is that when you start comparing yourself, then somewhere you should be trying to improve your state of affairs, right? And you should not be feeling bad because you are not you are not equal to somebody, right? Because this is not actually going to take you anywhere. So if you realize the fact of this life, and if you realize the reality of this life, and if you realize the importance of or you can say the powerful the power of pain, the power of pain, that it can turn a person from an ordinary one into a transformed personality, then I think you will be taking the pain as an outlet to express your to express your potential. You can to reach your higher potentials, right? This is possible because other the personalities which we have read about, who we have read about, have also done the same, and personality even today have done the same. And I think this will keep happening in future as well. So if you take pain the right way, the positive way, I think it is going to give you a transformative experience, and you will definitely become a transformative, transformed personality. So with this,
I want to add one more point at the last, is that there are two things: perception of reality and the real event that has happened to your life. Unfortunately, or ironically, we are more agitated and suffered only through the perception of reality. So all these things which we call the painful state of our mind is actually not the that event that has happened to us, but yes, you have concluded this might happen right in your future. So you are unnecessarily being bothered about it, and you are
Yes.
calling it a painful state of mind.
Future has yet to come.
This is called a psychological pain, and therefore it is said that the happiest moment of life of people is that comes right through the non-state of thinking. So
Yeah.
therefore, whatsoever problem you have in your mind, let it be there. The problem comes and happens only when you start thinking on the problems, right? So this verb should be, this action of thinking should be somewhere minimized. So this is what I have to say.
So with this, I'm gonna wrap the show up, and we will be coming with some exciting episodes.
Yeah.
Till then, take care.
Bye bye.